My name is Joel Martinez, and I thought the worst day of my life was when my father died of cancer. I was wrong. The worst day came 3 weeks later at the reading of his will. I sat in the mahogany-paneled office of Patterson and Associates, my hands shaking as I waited for the lawyer to begin. Across from me sat Patricia, my father's second wife, wearing designer sunglasses indoors and a black dress that probably cost more than my rent. Next to her was Derek, her son from her first marriage, smirking at his phone. "Thank you all for coming," Mr. Patterson said, adjusting his glasses. "I'll read the will of Robert Martinez now." Patricia removed her sunglasses, her eyes dry and calculating. Mr. Patterson cleared his throat. "I, Robert Martinez, being of sound mind and body, do hereby declare this my last will and testament. To my wife Patricia Martinez, I leave my entire estate, including the family home at 847 Oakwood Drive, all financial assets totaling approximately $2 million and all personal property." My stomach dropped. "Wait, what about—" "Please let me finish," Mr. Patterson said uncomfortably. He continued reading. "To my son Joel Martinez, I leave nothing. Joel has proven himself irresponsible, ungrateful, and undeserving of any inheritance. He has brought nothing but disappointment to this family. In my final days, I realized he deserves nothing from me. In fact, the world would be better off without him." The words hit me like a physical blow. "My father thought I deserved to die?" Patricia spoke up, her voice dripping with false sympathy. "I'm so sorry, Joel. Your father was very clear about his wishes in his final months." "This can't be real," I said, my voice breaking. "Dad wouldn't say that. We talked every week during his treatment. He told me he loved me." Derek laughed. "Dude, face it, he hated you. Mom took care of him while you were off doing whatever. You barely visited." "I visited every weekend," I shouted. "I took time off work. I was there." "Apparently not enough," Patricia said, standing up smoothly. "Mr. Patterson, when can I access the estate accounts?" "I'll have the paperwork ready by tomorrow," he replied, looking distinctly uncomfortable. "Mr. Martinez, Joel, you have 30 days to contest the will if you choose." "Contest it?" Patricia's voice turned sharp. "On what grounds? His father made his wishes perfectly clear." I stood up, my chair scraping loudly. "This is wrong. Something is wrong." "The only thing wrong," Derek said, "is that you thought you'd get a free ride. Time to grow up, bro." "Don't call me bro," I said. "We're not family." Patricia walked over to me, standing too close. "Actually, Joel, Robert made that clear too. We're his family. You're just a disappointment he wanted to forget." I left the office, my vision blurring with tears. In the parking lot, I sat in my beat-up Honda for 20 minutes, trying to process what had just happened. My father had been my hero. He'd raised me alone after Mom died when I was 10. We'd been a team. And now I was supposed to believe he'd hated me? My phone rang. It was my Aunt Margaret, my mom's sister. "Joel, honey, how did it go?" she asked. "He left me nothing, Aunt Marge," I said, my voice hollow. "He said I deserved to die." "What? That's impossible. Your father loved you more than anything." "Apparently not. Patricia got everything, all $2 million in the house." "Joel, listen to me," Aunt Margaret said urgently. "Your father would never say that. Something is very wrong here." "Everyone keeps saying that, but the will is legal. The lawyer read it." "Then we fight it. Come to my house tonight. We need to talk about this." I arrived at Aunt Margaret's house that evening, exhausted and heartbroken. She opened the door and immediately pulled me into a hug. "Come in, sweetheart. Someone's here who needs to talk to you." In her living room sat an older Asian man in an expensive suit. He stood when I entered. "Joel Martinez?" he asked. "Yes?" "My name is Richard Chen. I was your father's estate attorney for 15 years. I frowned. "I thought Mr. Patterson was his lawyer." "Patterson handled the will reading, but I was the one who helped your father draft his actual estate plan." "Joel, I need you to sit down." I sat, confused. Aunt Margaret sat beside me, taking my hand. Mr. Chen pulled out an envelope. "3 months ago, your father came to my office. He was very sick, but very clear-minded. He drafted a will leaving his entire estate to you, Joel. Every penny, the house, everything." "But that's not what was read today," I said. "I know, because what was read today was a forgery." The word hung in the air like smoke. "What are you saying?" Aunt Margaret asked. "I'm saying Patricia Martinez created a fake will," Mr. Chen said. "Your father's real will is here." He held up a document. "I witnessed it. It's notarized. It's legal. And it leaves everything to Joel." My hands started shaking. "How do you know what was read today was fake?" "Because your father would never write those words about you," Mr. Chen said. "But more importantly, because I have proof." The will read today was supposedly signed 6 weeks ago, correct? Yes, I said. 6 weeks ago, your father was hospitalized in intensive care. He was barely conscious. I have medical records showing he couldn't have signed anything. Patricia had access to his signature on other documents. She forged it. Why are you telling me this? I asked. Why didn't you stop the reading? Because I wasn't invited, Mr. Chen said. Patricia specifically chose Patterson, a lawyer your father had never worked with. She needed someone who didn't know the truth. I only found out about your father's death yesterday. I immediately checked the public records and saw a will had been filed, one I'd never seen before. Aunt Margaret squeezed my hand. Joel, we're going to fix this. How? I asked. They already have everything. Mr. Chen smiled grimly. We take them to court, we prove fraud, and we make sure Patricia faces criminal charges. Criminal charges? I repeated. Will forgery is a felony, Mr. Chen explained. It's fraud, potentially elder abuse if she manipulated your father during his illness, and possibly theft. If convicted, she's looking at serious prison time. I felt something unfamiliar stirring in my chest. Hope. What do I need to do? I asked. First, we file a will contest immediately. Second, we gather evidence. Do you have access to your father's house? No. Patricia changed the locks yesterday. Of course she did, Mr. Chen said. Did your father keep any important documents elsewhere? A safety deposit box? He had one at First National Bank, I said. He gave me a key years ago, just in case. Perfect. We check that tomorrow. We're looking for any documents, correspondence with Patricia, anything showing her motive or opportunity. Aunt Margaret leaned forward. What about the cruel things the fake will said about Joel? Can we use that? Absolutely, Mr. Chen said. Those statements are actually evidence. They're so out of character that they demonstrate the will's illegitimacy. Your father bragged about Joel constantly. He showed me pictures of you at college graduation. He was immensely proud. Tears welled in my eyes. Really? Really, Mr. Chen said gently. Your father loved you, Joel. Patricia stole from you and tried to destroy his memory in the process. We're going to make sure she pays for that. 2 weeks later, we had everything we needed. The safety deposit box contained years of bank statements showing Patricia had been systematically draining joint accounts. We found emails where she'd researched will forgery. We had medical records proving Dad couldn't have signed. Most damning, we had handwriting experts who confirmed the signature on Patricia's will was forged. Mr. Chen arranged a meeting at his office with Patricia, Derek, and their lawyer. Patricia walked in confidently, Derek trailing behind her. This is harassment, she announced. The will was read. It's legal. You're wasting everyone's time. Sit down, Mrs. Martinez, Mr. Chen said calmly. Patricia's lawyer, a nervous young woman named Miss Cooper, whispered something to her client. Patricia sat, her expression annoyed. Thank you for coming, Mr. Chen began. We're here because my client, Joel Martinez, is contesting the will read 2 weeks ago. On what grounds? Miss Cooper asked. Fraud, forgery, and elder abuse. Patricia laughed. That's absurd. Robert signed that will willingly. Really? Mr. Chen opened a folder. Because medical records show that on the date your will was supposedly signed, Robert Martinez was in intensive care, sedated, and unable to write his name. The color drained from Patricia's face. Derek spoke up. Maybe the date's wrong. Maybe he signed it earlier. The will is dated and notarized, Mr. Chen said. Are you suggesting the notary is lying? I'm suggesting mistakes happen, Derek said weakly. Let's talk about other evidence, Mr. Chen continued. We have bank records showing Mrs. Martinez withdrew $50,000 from joint accounts 2 days before Robert's death. We have her search history showing she researched how to contest a will and validity of holographic wills weeks before Robert died. Patricia stood abruptly. This is entrapment. You can't use my private information. It's not private when it's evidence of a crime, I said, speaking for the first time. You forged my father's will. You stole from me. And you made it look like he hated me. Your father did hate you, Patricia shrieked, her composure cracking. He told me you were useless, that you'd waste everything he built. Show me when he said that, I challenged. Show me one text, one email, one voicemail. Patricia's mouth opened and closed. She had nothing. Mr. Chen pulled out another document. This is Robert Martinez's actual will, drafted 3 months ago in my office, properly witnessed and notarized. It leaves his entire estate to his son Joel. Patricia Martinez is not mentioned. That's a lie, Derek shouted. It's registered with the state bar, Mr. Chen said calmly. It's been in my firm's vault since it was signed. Would you like to see the security footage of your stepfather signing it? Miss Cooper whispered urgently to Patricia. Patricia's hands were shaking. There's more, Mr. Chen said. We have 3 handwriting experts who've examined the signature on your will, Mrs. Martinez. All 3 confirm it's a forgery. We have your purchase history showing you bought tracing paper and signature practice books 2 months ago. The door opened. A tall man in a suit entered. "Sorry I'm late," he said. "Joel, this is Detective Morrison with the Fraud Division," Mr. Chen said. "Detective, Mrs. Martinez is ready for your questions." Patricia's face went white. "I want a lawyer, a real lawyer." Miss Cooper stood up. "I'm not qualified for criminal defense. Mrs. Martinez, I strongly suggest you say nothing." Detective Morrison smiled. "Mrs. Martinez, Patricia Martinez, you're under investigation for will fraud, forgery, and theft. You have the right to remain silent." Derek stood up. "Mom, what's happening?" "Shut up, Derek," Patricia snapped. Then to the detective. "This is all circumstantial. You can't prove anything." "Actually," I said, standing up, "we can. Dad kept a journal. It was in his safety deposit box. He wrote about how worried he was that you were isolating him from me, how you kept telling him I was too busy to visit when I was calling every day, how money kept disappearing. He was planning to divorce you." Patricia's face twisted with rage. "He was a stupid old man who didn't appreciate what he had. I spent 3 years taking care of him, and for what? So some ungrateful kid could inherit everything? I earned that money." "By forging his will?" Detective Morrison asked. Patricia realized what she'd said. Her lawyer groaned. "You didn't earn anything," I said quietly. "You stole it. From my father, from me. And you tried to make me believe he hated me. That's the part I'll never forgive." The trial lasted 3 weeks. The prosecution presented our evidence. The forged will, the medical records, the bank statements, Patricia's internet history, the handwriting analysis, and Dad's journal entries. Patricia's lawyer tried to argue that she'd been confused, that she'd made mistakes under grief, but the evidence was overwhelming. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. We find the defendant, Patricia Martinez, guilty of forgery in the first degree, fraud, and theft. Patricia sobbed. Derek, sitting in the gallery, put his head in his hands. The judge spoke. "Mrs. Martinez, you committed a calculated crime against a dying man and his son. You forged legal documents, stole a substantial estate, and attempted to permanently damage a father-son relationship. I sentence you to 8 years in state prison and order you to pay full restitution to Joel Martinez." 8 years. I felt a weight lift from my chest. Outside the courthouse, Aunt Margaret hugged me tight. "Your father would be so proud of you." Mr. Chen shook my hand. "The estate is yours now, Joel. All of it. The house, the accounts, everything. I'll handle the transfer paperwork." "What happens to Derek?" I asked. "He wasn't charged," Mr. Chen said. "We couldn't prove he knew about the forgery, but he's lost everything too. Patricia had been supporting him with your father's money." I thought about that. Derek had been cruel, but he'd also been manipulated by his mother his whole life. "I don't forgive him," I said, "but he's not my problem anymore." A reporter approached. "Mr. Martinez, how does it feel to win?" "It's not about winning," I said. "It's about justice. My father was a good man who deserved better than what Patricia did to him. I'm just glad the truth came out." That night, I stood in my father's house, my house now, holding his journal. The last entry, written a week before he died, said, "Joel called today. He wanted to visit, but Patricia said I was too sick. I miss my son. I need to fix this. I need to make sure he knows I love him and that he'll always be taken care of. Tomorrow I'll call Richard Chen. He'd tried to protect me, even at the end. Patricia had almost won, but she'd underestimated both my father's love and my determination to honor him. I inherited everything, the house, the money, the business Dad had built. But more importantly, I got back something Patricia had tried to steal, the truth about my father's love. Patricia is in prison now, serving her 8 years. She tried to send me a letter from jail, apologizing and asking for forgiveness. I sent it back unopened. Some betrayals are too deep for redemption. Derek reached out once, asking if we could talk. I declined. My father taught me that family isn't just blood, it's loyalty and love. Patricia and Derek had neither. I still miss Dad every day, but now, when I think of him, I remember his real words, not Patricia's lies. I remember him being proud of me, loving me, wanting the best for me. That's the legacy she couldn't steal. Have you ever had someone try to turn a loved one against you or forge documents to steal what was rightfully yours? What would you have done in my situation? Like and subscribe for more stories about people who refused to be victims and fought back the right way?